Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. So recently I had a question related with how to sell succulents, especially in the vicinity. If you're selling succulents online, I already have made a video of how to pack them. I will put the link in the description below. You can check it out. You can either sell it online or you can sell it in your locality or in your area. It all depends which you are comfortable with. Of course, selling them online is a little bit difficult because you have to ensure that the packing is done well, and you have to ensure that you partner with a good and reasonable postage service that can help you deliver the succulents on time and in good condition, which again can be a huge task, especially in my city. But let's say that you want to sell it in your location, probably if there is an exhibition, or you just want to sell it in the groups, like you have your WhatsApp groups or your Facebook groups, Instagram groups. If you want to sell it in that which is in your locality, then I would suggest you can go with the pot method as well. Now always remember, a lot of times people do ask me this question, how do we sell succulents? What I always advise is sell them like you would be buying those succulents. Like if you were a buyer, what other things would you expect? Things like a healthy succulent that does not have any disease, any fungus or any pest, that is well rooted, and of course you would like to have a succulent that is well established in the pot with the right type of soil mix. I have seen a lot of people, just for the sake of selling succulents in pots, they tend to sell it with coco peat. Now of course the succulent is not going to do quite well in the long run. Eventually the succulent will start having issues, and what's going to happen in return, if you are planning to start a business with succulents and if you're going to give them with coco peat and stuff like that, you are going to damage your brand and your business, because eventually people will not buy from you, because your succulents probably after a month or so will start to have issues. What I used to do is this is something that I'm going to be talking on a personal level. This is what I used to do pre-COVID. Of course, before COVID, there used to be a lot of exhibitions in my city. I used to sell a lot of succulents in the exhibitions, and it used to work out really well. I must tell you, the profit with succulents is very high. You can earn a good amount of profit with succulents, but again, not every day is going to be the same kind of sales you're going to have. At times you might not be able to sell any, at times you might happen to sell everything. There have been times wherein I have sold all 50 succulents that I took to the exhibition, and at times I have sold only 30 out of those 50. Like I remember once there was very heavy rains and I was only able to sell around 30 of them, and then I had to get back all of them. And those days I did not have these small pots. I used to have these pots. If you remember, these were the pots that I used to make, and they are quite heavy. Imagine taking 50 of this was a huge task. The transportation was a huge task, like going and coming back, and then if you haven't sold anything, you have to get those remaining back. That was a huge task. But today, as you can see, I have found out these smaller containers that tend to work out really well, which are lighter as well. You can get these plastic containers online. They are very affordable, very easy to plant the succulents in this. You can easily put your medium-sized succulents in this. This one has been in this for almost 2 years now, and you can see it's already starting to flower. Even though the pot size is very small, the succulents can still do quite well, because as we have spoken about this earlier, succulents do not need very large pots. They will do quite well in smaller pots as well. So I think this must be around 2 inches, and it is working out really well. Now if you do not want to buy these, you can go with these takeaway containers. The good part is that these are very light, but the only issue is if you're planning to sell and make profit, these containers will work out really well. You do not need to buy them. You can just collect them if you're having a takeaway or stuff like that. But the issue is you will have to put in a lot of soil in this. Soil, again, you have to ensure that you're making the right type of soil mix. Don't randomly use coco peat and random soil. That is not a very good business practice. If you're selling something, as I've said this, sell as if you are buying it. You definitely wouldn't want a succulent in a very bad potting mix, wherein after that you have to go ahead and repot it. So go with something that you will have stress-free life with succulents. So go with the soil mix, a basic soil mix. You don't need to use pumice or activated charcoal. You can go with very basic soil mix, that is sand and garden soil. to reduce the cost and to increase the profit. But in this type of pots, you would require a lot of soil. So if you're looking out for more profit margin, then I would suggest to go with these. These come in a pack of, I think, 20, I guess, and not very expensive. So you can go with these, and these don't require a lot of soil. So you can have a good profit margin with smaller pots. And don't worry, the smaller pots can do quite well. You can see the succulent in the smaller pot. It's doing very, very well. So like this one as well, you can see it's doing fantastic. But let's say you want to be more creative, you want to make something very unique, then of course you can make your own concrete pots, the smaller ones, not the larger ones. Those are a little difficult to carry around for transportation. Those are very heavy. You can go with smaller pots. Of course, these take a lot of time. You need to be very creative and make them very attractive. It takes a lot of time and a lot of efforts. So according to that, if you are able to invest that time, if you have passion, of course you would be able to make such things. But if you're just doing it for the sake of selling, all these things are not going to come in picture. If you are very passionate about selling succulents, if you're very artistic, you are very innovative, very creative, then of course you will come up with something like this. But again, it requires a lot of patience, and of course you require a lot of materials for those as well. You can see you can make these tiny ones, and trust me, such pots, I have seen them getting sold out really fast. When you have something very unique and handmade, people tend to look out for these. It all depends upon the type of customer you have. Some people don't like very flashy things, they just want something very simple. So you can go with these plastic pots like this. But if you want to make it something very attractive, so then you can go with these. Again, it all depends from person to person. And this one was the takeaway container. As you can see, even these tend to work out really well, but the only thing is that you would require a lot of soil for these, and they can house a lot of more succulents in this. So if you want to make a bunch, you can go with these pots as well. It all depends. Again, price is something that I wouldn't recommend. It all depends upon you, because there are other factors as well. So pricing is something that you have to decide on your own. Don't keep it too high and don't keep it too low. It all depends, whatever is profitable with you. There have been times wherein I used to sell it to an individual person as well. She used to have a yoga center. I did a lot of sales with her. Succulents were getting sold like hotcakes, but the only issue was the arrangement that she had. Like, it was a yoga center, so there wasn't a lot of direct sunlight. So at times succulents used to get sold out. I used to only keep around 10 succulents with her, and a lot of times all the 10 succulents used to get sold out, and I used to be really happy. But at times there would be only 2 or 3 succulents that used to get sold out. Now that's where the issue started, because there wasn't much sunlight and the succulents were at her place and there was not much light, due to which within 2 days the colors started to fade off. And the moment the colors tend to fade off, they look less attractive, and then you will not have people buying those succulents that tend to look a little bit faded. People will only buy succulents that look very, very intensely colored. That tends to catch the eye. Something that has lost its color, and then after the 4th day or the 5th day, they started to stretch and they started looking even more worse than what it was with the faded colors. And then of course those succulents, I had to get it back. Those were not sold. And then again, the process of acclimating them and getting that intense color on them, it was quite hectic, and I dropped that idea. But then I had another option wherein I have to walk all the way to her place, which takes roughly around 30 minutes one way. Drop the succulents, then if they are not sold out, get them back. So that was getting a little bit hectic, and I dropped the idea. So it all depends upon how well prepared you are, or if you just want to sell off the extras, then not much of an issue. But if you want to get into a proper business, it is profitable of course, but it requires a lot of work. You need to have a proper setup wherein your succulents are getting that good amount of light. You're not struggling with moving them around, covering them up, all that stuff. You need to have a permanent setup. The succulent business is very, very profitable. Mark my words, it is. Works out really well, especially if your succulents are well colored, they are compact, they look attractive, they will be sold within no time. Being said that, if you are planning to get into the business, it is not that easy. As I said, let's say if you're planning to buy 100 succulents as a wholesaler, you have to ensure that you have 100 pots ready with that soil mix that can be utilized for all of those 100 pots. You cannot afford to buy 100 succulents and then start looking out for pots or for soil. You cannot do that, because the moment those succulents come home, you have to start potting them and make them comfortable in the environment. You cannot wait, or you cannot start hunting for the pots or soil after they have arrived. And again, let's say you have bought 100 of them. Not trying to demotivate you, it's not always necessary that all 100 of them will be sold. Probably there might be some that are left back. Probably there is a larger lot that is left back, and remember, you have to take care of that larger lot. Would you be able to invest that amount of time? So all of these things matter, because if you're not going to give that proper care, they will start to have issues. Taking care of 100 succulents for a beginner is a very, very huge task. You need to keep a check on the watering. You need to keep a visual check whether there are any pests or not. You have to buy it from a very genuine seller, very trustworthy seller that has been into succulents for a very long time. You do not want to get succulents that are stretched or elongated or have lost the color, because then again, those are not going to be sold off. You have to get succulents that are compact, very intensely colored. Even if they come in very intense colored, you have to again offer that same kind of environment in order to maintain that kind of color. Only then things are going to get sold out. So all of these things matter a lot. It is a good business, but ensure that you are doing your proper planning. You have everything in place, and then you can start this business. But most important is that you source them out from a very good seller. Apart from that, you have to have that kind of time to invest. You can't just get them and just leave them aside. They are not going to do quite well, especially if you are a beginner. So that was all about it. I would say go with the right things. Even though you want to make profit, but do not compromise on quality, because quality matters a lot, especially if you are planning to make this as a long-term business. Quality matters a lot. So go with a soil mix that is appropriate for them. Just don't use garden soil and coco peat. Go with a proper soil mix. If you're going to have a good quality succulents with a good quality mix, people will definitely come back to you to buy more of them. Because when I started selling them in the exhibitions, there were a lot of times I had repeat customers, and they used to come and buy the succulents without even questioning, because they know that the first time when they purchased the succulents, they were in a very good health. And so the second time when they came, they used to buy 3 or 4 of them at one go. And within couple of minutes, I would say like within 30-45 minutes of starting of the exhibition, I used to be sold out. I could not carry a lot of them because, as you all know, these pots were very heavy, so I used to only carry around 40 or 50 of them, and a lot of times I did get a good amount of response. But unfortunately, COVID happened, all the exhibitions were shut, and then I had to kind of stop that. Right now there are not much exhibitions happening, so even now I have completely left selling them. I did sell them online last year. A lot of the extra succulents were sold out. Right now, whatever succulents I have are basically the singles, which I'm not selling. I did not enjoy selling much, even though there was a good amount of money. But after selling the succulents, I used to feel very depressed looking at the empty pots. So I thought I will kind of give up on selling. Maybe someday in future, but not right now. I would prefer to have my succulents around and not have empty pots. Like these 2 pots, there were succulents in this that have been sold out, and I still have the pots empty. Whenever I look at them, I feel kind of depressed. And I have spoken to other sellers as well. They also had the same experience. They said that they never enjoyed selling, and hence they also happened to stop selling succulents. So I think it all depends. But nevertheless, I hope you might have got a fair idea of what you can do if you want to sell them. And that's about it. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. And if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.